leader at the top who lets us do our jobs, and right down to everybody in our training room, and, scouting area, management, the whole deal. And we all know that. Everybody in here knows that everybody's got a piece of this thing. Kawhi thinks he did it all by himself. But we all know that we all had a piece of it. But I've never been more proud of a team, nor have I ever gotten as much satisfaction from a season in all the years I've been coaching. To see the fortitude you guys displayed and coming back from that horrific loss last year and getting yourselves back to the position and doing what you did in the finals. You're really to be honored for that, and I just can't tell you how much it means. Thank you very much for everything you've allowed me to do.
Little Greg Popovich to open up as the Spurs are our world champions of the National Basketball Association. Tip-off coming your direction today. We'll look back at that win. That was obvious early, actually, despite LeBron's heroic first quarter. And we'll get the latest on the draft news on the most heavily produced edition ever of Tip-Off, which quite frankly means it's really prime for a total disastrous show. I'm David Locke. Glad to have you with us. Wherever you might be, whenever, if it's at work today, if it's on the drive in, if it's on the drive out, if it's just on your run, if it's on your bike ride, wherever it is. The beauty of this is you can listen to it whenever. I want to thank everyone. Our numbers are through the roof right now. In fact, last week, I believe on our YouTube, iTunes combination was one of the other than single-day spikes where we've made a trade or something of that sort. In the 2 years we've done this, this was the largest. Last week was one of the largest weeks we've ever had. I was trying to do the data. No surprise. And there were the outliers where we had some huge individual days, but without a major news story, we got there. Now, Quinn getting hired is a pretty major news story, but that happened on Saturday into Monday, so maybe that counts and dissuades what I just said. So anyway, thank you very much. A big show, and then I'm heading off to the Suite Holder, season ticket holder golf tournament today, and I always love those events because these are the people that make us great. I get asked this question all the time. I want to just throw this out there today. People always ask me at these events, what do we do to keep free agents? What do we do so we can get – we do it. It's us, me, you. We have something very special. San Antonio has it because of Duncan and Popovich and the winning they've had. But these small cities that have one team have a special connection to that team that's not the same in New York or LA or Dallas or even Denver. And we need to bring that back. It's on us. We need to, next time a Kevin Love is available for 2 years, go acquire that player. And in those 2 years, show him how special Salt Lake City is as a basketball town, how revered you are if you come and play here, how supported you are, more importantly, if you come and play here, and how serious the organization is to winning. It's on the organization to show that. It's on us to show the special atmosphere. I get that question all the time. I'll get that question today, and that's the answer. It's largely on us. All right, let's dig into this one because I have got a ton of stuff to get done. Again, I'm sorry. One other note before I get going. On Friday, two things, sorry. Friday was Craig Bolajak in the City of Sandy's golf tournament, the Craig Bolajak Classic. I played with the guys from Fabulous Freddy's and had a wonderful time with a great group of guys. Then I went and got my car washed at Fabulous Freddy's, which I'd never done. I'd never heard of Fabulous Freddy's. I'm a loser. And it was great. So tip of the hat. My wife's all pleased but more importantly, a tip of the hat to Craig and the raising money for women who can't afford mammograms and really just terrific atmosphere, environment, event. I was wowed by the effort of everybody from the City of Sandy. I was wowed by the work Craig puts in. A fabulous event. I'm really honored to be associated with Craig. I actually meant to send him a text yesterday. I'll probably do it as we are done with this. I was thinking on Father's Day that it's really hard to be a good parent and do the jobs we do. My job's the best job in the world, but that one drawback is I'm a pretty bad parent for 6 months a year, as much as I may try otherwise. And Craig Bolajak and Tyrone Corbin, Steve Klauke too, have really kind of shown me a little model on how to do this and how to stay married, how to honor your wife for the work she puts in, and how to have your kids know you're still there for them when you're not. So that would be my kind of quick. Maybe that's a daily devar, but I want to just mention those guys. All right, let's dig in. Let's start local draft news first. Jazz stuff. The latest on the draft news is Noah Vonleh is in today. The Jazz will end up with by the end of they've had everybody in but Exum, Smart, and Randall. I would suspect that we will see Randall soon. However, I don't necessarily know that we will see Smart or Exum. It's hard to get these guys to come in when Trey Burke's your starting point guard in his second year. Smart doesn't want to come here not because we're Salt Lake City, but because he'd rather go to Sacramento where he can beat out Isaiah Thomas, or Sacramento's pretty far back in the draft, but he could probably rather go to Orlando where he's going to start. He'd rather go to the Lakers where he starts. And, he's got to go battle Trey Burke for a job, and getting a kind of combo job is probably not particularly appealing. So anything he can do to probably get himself out of that position would be interesting. He'll probably do. But we'll see Noah Vonleh in today. From those guys' standpoint, we don't have a true power forward. We kind of have these hybrids. They probably figure they can match a little bit. The Euros can drop out today, and Kristaps Porzingis did drop out, which was a bit of a surprise. I had him highlighted for our 23rd pick as a Euro we could stash if we all kind of agree that using all three picks is probably not high on the agenda of adding three young players. But he's pulled out. Thunder have been talking about him at 21, and so that's big news. We'll see what other happens with Europe. Today's the day on that. And then we'll have to start investigating. I do still think there's a real chance the Jazz will do some. I would say that I would be surprised if we drafted 523 and whatever our second round pick number is. I'd be, if we don't combine something in there, if we only end up with two players, or at least if we do draft there, that we stash one of it. If three players show up October 1st for Quinn Snyder's first day of training camp with all from this draft, I'd be a bit surprised. I would suspect we begin to get some coaching news. I know, it's been rumored, but nothing official, that Brad Jones was getting promoted. I think he had a choice between here in Atlanta under Budenholzer, who he knows well, knows that Atlanta staff very, very well, take Quinn's spot or some part of it. There's a chance, the way this all works, that when Darvin Ham's name went out there, which is very logical, he's worked with Quinn twice, that actually maybe Darvin gets promoted and then Brad gets a job is a better one here. But also Brad Jones has deep Utah DNA with his ties to Jerry Sloan, and his time coaching here and with the Flash, and his connections to Dennis Lindsey. I mean, it would be great because if Brad Jones could come back, you have Dennis Lindsey, Quinn Snyder, and Brad Jones, all with that Spurs connection to understand the brilliance of what we're seeing with this team. So we'll see on that. Alex Jensen could get promoted. There's a great big man coach available in Jack Sikma. I don't know if it matches to what we're doing. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out and who takes the next steps. Spurs win it last night. It's an amazing story. The fortitude, as Popovich was talking about, to come back from that dreadful loss, to dominate in the finals. Really a truly brilliant performance in every way. They're the gold standard. Oklahoma City, Atlanta, and Utah are trying to model themselves after it more than probably any other franchises, with Spurs people throughout their front office. Atlanta and Utah are just laden with it. But they're the gold standard. And Tim Duncan's the key to that gold standard. But I think you'd be wrong to say that the gold standard is Tim Duncan and not give that organization the method that they do things some credit. But frankly, without Tim Duncan, I'm not sure they get as far. Duncan, I've said this for a long time. It's nothing new. I think he's a top 5 player in the history of the NBA. He's won 71% of his games. He's got 5 titles. His level of dominance for the period of time is incredible. 12 straight, I think 13 straight first team, all defensive teams. He is a superstar. It's funny, well, they did it with a team effort. They did do it with a team effort, but everybody who's ever won a title has done it with a team effort. But they also have 3 Hall of Famers on the floor, and a 4th one coaching and a 5th one in the GM seat. So as much as it's a team effort, Tim Duncan's one of the 5 best players to ever play the game. Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker are going to the Hall of Fame. They're beautiful player development. they look at players' strengths rather than their weaknesses. And, I look back at Patty Mills, and it took some time for him to evolve. But when he came out of St. Mary's, he turns it over way too much for a point guard. He's not a point guard. Well, you're right. Maybe he's not. But look at what they've done with him to teach him how to be enough of a point guard so he can play. It's a model of that organization that they look at players of what they can do. Instead of looking at Kawhi Leonard for the fact that he can't shoot, they looked at Kawhi Leonard as somebody who could do all of these other things, and then they've taught him how to shoot. To that extent, I think, by the way, if you're wondering, does the Spurs championship impact our draft pick at all? My guess is if the Spurs championship, let me get the if statement in there. If the Spurs championship impacts us at all, I would say we draft Aaron Gordon. Look at what he can do, not what he can't do, and figure it out. And if that's the case, you draft Aaron Gordon because of what he can do at that 5th pick, and then figure out the rest of it. Few interesting things. We'll see this on film here. When Tony Pop makes a quick change, when LeBron goes on to Tony Parker to start the game, and I actually thought LeBron's first quarter was one other than Sleepy Floyd's insanity many years back, or LeBron's fourth quarter against Detroit many years back. I thought LeBron's first quarter was one of the best quarters of basketball I've ever seen by anyone ever. I thought it was amazing, and the fact that he didn't have a teammate that could pick up another minute of action for him was very, very telling. Sorry, I just saw a note from Jonathan Erickson that Marcus Smart tweeted he is not working out for the Jazz because the Jazz are not interested in him. Thoughts? That just popped up in my chats. He's in the chat room, so this interrupts where I was going, but it goes back to where I was. So I'm going to I'm not sure I think that's true. David Horan says he deleted it later. My understanding, without being revealing anything, is that his agent is what I said earlier. I'll just go with I don't think that's true. I'm just going to go with I don't think that's true. How about that? The Jazz have done their work on Exum and Smart. By the way, let me point this way. The Jazz have done their work on Exum and Smart. Regardless if they come in to work out or not, they will be on the draft board for them. And neither of them is off the draft board. Both of them will be looked at and considered. And again, as I would say, and I don't know this for a fact, agents are looking at opportunity for their players. Walt said this to the media. We're having a tough time with that because we got 5 young guys, one at each position right now. And so, a lot of people are having a hard time. I don't know if we really want to come in and work out in Utah. There's no opportunity there. There's already a young guy in that spot. So that's going on. All right, I want to go back to what I was saying before that caught me off guard. LeBron, who had, I thought, one of the great first quarters I've ever seen, is bringing the ball up, is guarding Parker, and immediately Kawhi Leonard starts bringing the ball to the floor. It's a brilliant adjustment immediately by Popovich. Talk about having a team together long enough, and a coach who knows his team. That was immediately his adjustment. He already had it pre-planned, and we'll see that in the game film here early. The other one is Battier's hard foul on Manu. I almost thought it woke up the Spurs. Don't mess with Manu, man, at all. All right, we're going to do an extended film study here. That also means that we have a chance that it will all go wrong. So please stick with me. And I don't know if we're going to have time for questions today because I've got to get to that golf tournament. So I need to be done here by about 8:50 or so. So we have 20 minutes. Hopefully I'll get this done in 10 and take 10 minutes of questions. All right, first thing I want to talk about is that when I keep notes on these little silly thing. It's got like every NBA Finals game notes in it. And while I'm watching, I used to actually use Evernote, but then I translate them over to Evernote for later. And all of my notes at the end of the first quarter were positive to the Spurs. Thought it was really, I have Duncan and Parker miss early, wide open, great looks. Wade's not hustling. Triple on Wade, they don't get anything out of it. Contrast of Manu finding Leonard for a wide open 3 compared to Wade tripling. End of first quarter championship play. So I thought, you know what, let's go back. Remember, Miami is dominating this game. But these are the notes that I saw during this time period of the game that actually I was sitting with my wife, who might actually think I know something about basketball by the end of last night, and saying, this is going to be a Spurs blowout again. And here's why. Let's just go very, very early. There's 10:20 left in the game in the first quarter. I mean, we're just underway. And here is, I said this after game 2, if you've been watching this tip-off, I made the comment after game 2 that the Spurs are going to win this series because Miami, even when they're disrupting the Spurs offense, the Spurs are working through it and getting whatever they want. There's just no way they can stop them. And then we saw in game 3 and 4 what happens if they don't even disrupt it. So here is an early possession. Look, Kawhi Leonard's bringing the ball up. He gets an early probe, and the Heat are sharp right now. Kick out to Duncan. I think that's Rashard Lewis on him, who's not, that's a mismatch. And Parker retreats it out, trying to create the mismatch. So they're going to run a pick and roll. Parker waves it off because, wait a second, I don't want LeBron on me. I'd rather have Rashard. So now they try to get into some early action with a post-up. LeBron denies it. The play is off. And if you look, their floor spacing, which is usually so good right now, Kawhi's in his spot, Green's in his spot, but nothing else. It's all a little convoluted. James is battling DL. There's only 6 on the shot clock. We've talked about this so many times that these guys are able to get into the, they're running things at 18, the shot clock, and things of that sort. So here, sorry, I've got to fix the screen share because somebody popped in and I had to mute him. So here, everything seems to be going wrong, and yet watch what happens. Parker penetrates, actually half decent until they break down there with 4.6 seconds left. And then they collapse they do a pretty good job of collapsing on Parker taking away the basket. They should have cut off that drive better, there's no question. And here's Duncan, wide open. Okay, he missed it. But that, to me, on a possession in which things are not going right, they're still getting whatever they want. Here's another one where Miami's defense is pretty good early in this game. This one happens at the 9:20 mark. And again, what you're going to see is that Miami's defense at this point of the game with Parker brings this one up. But again, remember when they used to get in the early pick and rolls here early? It's 19. They're behind. They're off. They're not getting into their game quite the same way. Duncan's first pick is at 17. LeBron plays it beautifully. Ray Allen has slid down. The floor spacing of San Antonio is off. Parker tries to penetrate. They suffocate it. Out to Diaw. Bosch does a nice job of getting back, and everyone's kind of staying on their guys. They try the dribble handoff. Beautiful step out by Bosch. It really is so much better than people give him credit for. And here we are, 11 seconds left on the shot clock. This play is busted. This is great defense. This play is completely busted. Leonard penetrates. Rashard steps over. This is really fabulous defense. Out to Parker. LeBron takes his lane away. There's 7 seconds left. Parker penetrates. Ball gets tipped away. And somehow, out of all of this, with 4 seconds left on the shot clock, left elbow, Tony Parker is wide open. Wide open. That, to me, was when I was watching that. Even going into the second quarter for a second, where Miami's still leading. This is the beauty of the Spurs offense, and it might be on a miss, but I thought sometimes, that's makes and misses should not determine whether you like a play. You'll notice when I do my draft videos, and my Marcus Smart one should be done by tomorrow or late tonight. I'll cut off whether the ball goes in. It doesn't matter whether the ball goes in from a scouting standpoint. So here come the Spurs. They've got a little more momentum. They're within 5. They're trying to get into their early offense, and they're into it at 19. And they run it around, and Wade cheats to the outside. Chris Anderson cuts off the penetration nicely. Parker goes up for a jumper, and Anderson cuts it off. Look at the Spurs are not in their usual spacing. It's not bad, and Miami's done a nice job of clogging the lane. Parker gives it off to Splitter. Bosch, again, a perfect rotation. So Miami's really played this about as well as you can. One guy is open right now, Green, but Cole's in the right spot. He's here. He probably should be able to help out on Diaw and be able to get back to Green. And sure enough, out of that, on a pretty good defensive possession, San Antonio gets a wide open 3. Wide open. Pretty much a sign of how good they are. Here's the other contrast that I wrote down in the first quarter of this game that told me that things were not going to go well for Miami. Their offense, whatever that was at this point, was really getting them nothing. This will be a highlight reel play because of the fact LeBron hits a 28-footer. But again, to my point of you just can't.
12 straight points.
You can't look at where the ball ends up. This is Patty Mills, and they're on a 12-0 run, as you just heard Mike Breen here. But here, so now this is a 12-0 run. This is a really important possession. You've got to come down. You've got to run the best you got. So Wade penetrates, cut off. There's not a lot of movement. I don't know what they're doing. Now Wade double teams. They triple team Dwayne Wade for a brief moment here with 9 seconds on the shot clock. He throws a terrible pass out to LeBron. Either their floor spacing is off or Wade, I thought, was just awful last night. He just seemed disengaged. He throws a terrible, weak pass out. But if you look, they have a triple. 3 guys are guarding Wade in this picture. And Chris Anderson is probably not in far enough to keep Splitter. Battier's not out far enough on the right side. If you watch it, they end up getting, Bonner gets back out because Anderson misses the pick. Allen back over. Well, now, off a triple team, they end up with this. Okay, I know this is going to go in. LeBron from 28, but they triple team Wade in the post, and you end up 12 seconds later with that. Here, take this one. Here's another one where they double team LeBron in the post, and they'll actually get a foul. And actually, to the point of this, they'll end up with 3 points on LeBron, and there'll be a foul here. But again, you'll see that Miami's just not. This was first quarter. The Spurs had just dialed in on Miami's defense. So here's a pick and roll between Wade and LeBron. This should be their best play that they have. Wade tries to probe, nothing there. Post up to LeBron. Here comes Splitter on a double team. Anderson's actually got a nice pick, kind of set to clear Battier. This should be, look at that. That's basically a triple team. Battier slides up. Cole goes to the corner. Boom, boom. And Cole's going to end up getting fouled. But look at that defensive rotation. Now Cole is driving the baseline and in trouble as Splitter comes over in time. He's such a good defensive player. And he ends up fouling Cole questionably. They call that right there a foul. They got nothing out of it. Contrast this to look how easy this is. And I hope this is enjoyable to you because it's getting long. And then, we got to skewer Dwayne Wade here in a minute. That'll be much more fun than actually doing X's and O's. But contrast this. So Manu brings it up. And again, Miami's up by 10 at this point, and all my notes I'm writing down are about how good the Spurs are. So here's a very basic early Manu Ginobili pick and roll, and they get a quick 3 out of it. Well, how do they do it? So, this takes almost no effort, but here is, so they run a pick and roll. When Miami is playing their defense the way they want to smash the pick and roll, which means they want to send Anderson up to it. Here they do it. Battier's got to drop down and tag Splitter as he comes through the lane to prevent that pass. And then this pass out to Leonard. Just Ginobili immediately recognizes it with no problem at all, gets it to Leonard, who, by the way, this is the essence of the San Antonio Spurs. Look how ready he is when he catches the ball. That is the essence of Chip England and the San Antonio Spurs right there. That's what separates the Spurs from other teams. That split second, that level of detail. Their guys are always ready. Watch it again. Watch Leonard. He's over there. He is in shooting position right now. The ball has just left Ginobili's hand. He's got his right foot in front of his left foot. His feet are perfectly set. He catches the ball. He does his dip, and he is into the shooting motion prior to getting the ball. Battier doesn't get out in time, and they get an easy 3. That is, to me, championship preparation detail. And I got one other little two other plays I want to show you. One other that I really thought was championship level. These are the things to me that jump out. Maybe some coach is going to listen to this somewhere and laugh at me and overplay this. And we're going to have to watch this video really tightly from the beginning to see this. But this is the end of the quarter, okay? And I'll bring it up here in a second. This is the end of the quarter. The Spurs, Miami's it's 47-40. It's the end of the second. And I have the wrong play here. Let's redo that. What do I have? Period 2, play-by-play. Where is? Huh. Oh, maybe it's the end of the first. Excuse me for that. Apologize. Maybe it's the end of the first. It is. Okay. So the Heat are still up 7. To me, this is championship basketball. It's very subtle. You can all decide whether I'm overplaying this in a second. But this, to me, is the essence of championship basketball. Here is 4.6 seconds left. Miami is up 7. LeBron is going to get the inbound, and they want to roll the ball up to LeBron. Okay, if you watch this, LeBron says, kind of roll it up to me. And look at Kawhi Leonard right here, sprinting back. I'm going to go slow-mo. There, they want to roll it up so that, and what the goal is so that LeBron can catch the ball at about the timeline before the clock starts. How many times have you seen this and let players do this? Kawhi Leonard sprints up, says, nope, you can't do it. And LeBron catches the ball going sideways with 4.6 seconds left. So what, you say? Well, here's what. Let's go back to real time. And LeBron catches the ball at the restricted area going sideways. Had Kawhi Leonard not come back, he catches the ball probably at the timeline up here above the three-point line going toward the basket. His first step forward now happens at 3.7. He hasn't even hit the timeline yet. He gets by the timeline at 3.1. So it took him 1.8 seconds to get to where he wanted to catch the ball, and instead he ends up taking a running off-balance wild 3, and Miami goes up 7. Had Leonard not cut that off, he either gets to dish it out, he gets all the way to the paint and dishes out for someone for 3, or he gets to the rim and it's a 9 or 10-point game. To me, I love that. That's the stuff that I love, that frankly as a play-by-play announcer we don't do. That's where I lose my crap. All right. So that's where I just thought the game was obvious. I want to show one element of Spurs defense because I was trying to find a way to show you how the Spurs were able to shut down Miami. I thought this third quarter, Miami actually ran a pretty decent play here, and we're just starting the third. I don't think anyone's put much on the board yet. LeBron's initiating the offense. Their first pass, this is when Miami's good. The first pass is Bosh basically in the paint. So now, with 20 on the shot clock, Miami has got the ball to where San Antonio always wants to get the ball. They're deep into the shot clock. I mean, Bosh is in the paint at the elbow. Your defense is supposed to collapse. Watch this. Spurs they don't double team. They don't lose position on anyone. And Miami never, despite being in the paint here, never garners an advantage this entire possession. So now Bosh has to back out. They swing to Ray Allen. Ray penetrates. Here's Ray's penetration, yet everybody still is kind of marked to their man. Nice pass out to Wade. Great quick ball movement to LeBron. LeBron to Bosh. That was 3 really quick passes, and maybe this is Miami's lack of spacing, but where are the Spurs? Duncan's on his man. Leonard's actually doubling down to Bosh. Whoever is, that's probably Patty Mills, has got a chance to get back to Wade. Ginobili is still attached to Ray Allen, and Diaw's on Anderson. They kick to LeBron. LeBron thinks about probing. Ginobili is close enough still to be able to dig into that driving lane to be able to take away LeBron's drive and back out. And all they get with 4 seconds left is a Bosh 3. I'll watch it in real time. I'll let you watch it in real time without me stopping it every second. But this I thought was as good a defensive possession as the Spurs had all night. And it's the help defense without losing your man. Here's Duncan, but yet he's able to stay attached to Bosh. Here's quickly in Leonard, but yet attached to LeBron. Ginobili, yet still attached to Wade, and there's nothing out of it. I really thought that was brilliant. I thought Dwayne Wade's performance last night was disgusting. Both physically, I get it, he's not the same. But I thought overall his lack of energy and hustle was stunning to me. So let me try to walk you through some examples. It's hard because the way the program I use cuts plays off, and so you don't get the continuous run. But the game is 22-15, and Wade checks in for Bosch in the first quarter. And Ray Allen shoots a three. And again, this is hard because we're going to have to start it right out of the shoot. Because of the fact that the way they, as I said, the way they cut the plays, we're just picking up at the end of every play. So here we are. Ray Allen just missed a three. Wade has just come off the bench. Wade is right here at the free throw line. Kawhi Leonard has the ball at the free throw line. Manu Ginobili is Wade's man to the best of my knowledge. And here we go. And Wade just lollygags back down. No help on anyone. Let me just stay with my guy and not worry about helping the team out. A sprint back right now here's Patty Mills. He's the open guy. This guy's got to get the ball. This is Wade's responsibility as a team defender to sprint back and impact this play. He doesn't do it. Jumped out at me right away. Wrote it down in my notes right away. Okay? So here's our here's another one. And again, make or miss here, in my opinion, is completely irrelevant. It just doesn't matter, because what matters is the beauty of the game of basketball is it all comes back to get you. So here we are again. And by the way, I'll show you. Wade's not the only one. Here we are again. They've just scored. It's 22-18. Okay, play. Something's going wrong. I knew this was inevitable at some point today. All right. Let's see what happens here. My computer is oh, I know what's happened here. My computer is telling me I have to leave to go to a golf tournament. All right. Here we go. Inbound comes. I think that's Wade right there. There's Patty Mills. Here's Wade. Why did I highlight this one? We'll find out in a second. I can't remember. Oh, he gets picked off. Let's see what happens here. There's a reason why I have this play in. I don't have the notes to show you. This is coming off the LeBron 3, which we showed earlier, where things... I don't think I have the right play because I don't remember this in my previewing of the film today. So let's see what happens here. Maybe I'm supposed to have the Patty Mills make. Oh, I mean, it's just a bad closeout. That was not what I was looking for. Something was wrong in my notes. How's that possible? I can screw that up. Let's go to the second quarter when the run is happening. Let's see. Is this the... Wow, this is very interesting. I just wrote down all these times, previewed this whole thing, and somehow it's not as perfect as, of course, I wanted it to be. All right, so this is one where I just thought this is the difference between Miami's offense and the Spurs offense and the brilliance of and the need for the free throw passing, I think, where they run a play, Bosch is wide open, and Wade just misses it. Oh, this is also, Wade's supposed to set a pick here for Ray Allen. It doesn't happen. So Wade comes out to get the ball. So they run a pick and roll here with LeBron. LeBron will drive and miss. Now let's jump forward, because they actually get the ball back. And some of that actually is the possession where they highlighted that Kawhi, if you're watching the Kawhi Leonard, how great his defense on. His defense largely was so good because Wade didn't set a pick down below. But here is whereas Miami's offense was just jacked up, I think, if this is the play I'm looking for. Okay, here is Bosch setting a down screen for Ray Allen on the left side. Wade's at the point. Watch Chris Bosh. He slips the pick. He couldn't have been more open right there. Diaw's body is turned. If Bosch keeps going one more step, he is wide open. Duncan is there, and instead, somehow, Bosch doesn't complete the route. Diaw gets back, and then a lazy pass gets knocked out of bounds. They were so discombobulated that even when opportunities were there, it was incredible. Here's another one, and then we'll begin to wrap this up as my instincts tell me this is getting dry. And I think this is another not running the floor, if I recall, or at least just not playing team basketball. So here we are. Wade's right here. Ginobili's right there. They're both on the baseline. Go. Lollygag down. Hey, help me out. Get my guy for me. So now, suddenly you have a mismatch, and Rashard Lewis is guarding Ginobili. Well, okay, at this moment, it looks like there's no problem with that because of the fact that, hey, everybody matched up, except for the fact that Ginobili knows he has a mismatch. Chris, I need you to mute. Chris, I need you to mute. Oh, my guy's just going to screw us up. I think it means I'm going to lose. Oh, no, I didn't. All right, so it doesn't seem like that big a deal. And then all of a sudden, frankly, simply because Wade lollygags back, Ginobili is guarded by Rashard Lewis and gets an easy layup because they never switch back. Here are the games on the line early third quarter. And here's another one. Okay. Wade's right here on the baseline, I think. Diaw rebounds. I don't really. Oh, wait, he's out of the screen. I don't feel like coming back. I don't really feel like coming back. And his man drives, and Anderson picks up his fourth foul. There's no effort. Look at the contrast on this. I think this will be the one. No, it could have been a fourth quarter play. No, this is the play. This is a great contrast. And this is why I think the Heat are done. In some capacity, either they're all going to have to take less money, which I don't think Wade will be willing to do, or LeBron's going to leave. But here it is again. Here's Wade, free throw line. Here's Bosh, dotted line. Okay? LeBron just missed. Look at the difference. Look at Bosh sprinting. I'm in slow motion. And Wade is just not even caring. He's just lollygagging back. He's not even coming back. Who's Wade's man? Manu Ginobili. Who's wide open for three while Wade just hangs back behind the free throw line? It's good. Here's my point. This wasn't the first time this happened. I'd seen it all series, and I'd seen it all season. LeBron had to play 30 games this year without Wade because Wade's sitting out. LeBron's been covering for Wade all year long. Now he gets a bunch of heat because he loses. He ain't playing this game anymore. He's just not playing this game anymore. It's just not going to happen. That's my thought on that. All right, let's see. It is 7. I need to go. Let me see. Is there anything quickly in the question and answer I can grab in 2 minutes? I need to get out of here and get. This feature's disabled. Somehow my question and answer. I turned it on last night. All right. Is there anything in the chat room that opened the show that anybody wants to know quickly? Does the 2013 Spurs become a model for those teams unable to attract star players? I realize there are 3-star players in the Spurs, however, due to age, they are not dominant. No, they're pretty dominant. I mean, I think there's a teamwork in a system. That's the model, but that's pretty big deal. A few times last week you mentioned Hayward as being someone who is not a good fit, as I assumed he was. If I got it right, you implied he was not easy to coach. He never fit in the community. Wow, this is pretty strong. I hate it when people take what I imply, because what I imply is and he had bad body language in games. Okay, well, first, let's go back, reverse order. Gordon Hayward had bad body language in games last year. I think he would agree. It was obvious. Was Gordon fully engaged last year with the contract and the coaching situation and everything else? I'd say no. Did he completely buy into Ty? I would say his body language said no. Is he easy to coach? That's not an insult, by the way. That's just certain players are need to be shown that there are people out there who, when they're told something, they say yes sir and they just go do it, and there's others who need to have explained to them, or they need to really believe why it's happening, and that's the case with Gordon. I'm a big Gordon fan. He's going to get his money, he's going to get paid, and he's going to come back. So I'm a huge Gordon fan, but I don't understand. But those comments, you're taking what I said a little further than what was implied. All right, I got to run. Thanks very much. 40 minutes. Woo. See you. Bye.